If you missed Rollerjam last week, you missed the Florida Sundogs skating a man down rather than risk yet another Richard Brown ejection.
We can't have his detrimental influence on the team. The team has to come first.
But now in a blockbuster deal, the Sundogs have gotten rid of their problem and shipped Brown to the Nevada Hot Dice for clean skating Bill Barker. Tonight, Little Richard gets his first chance to bite back at the Sundogs.
You know they're ungrateful. I try to give them the guidance that they need out there. They want to do it their way, let them play their way.
Florida will try to keep it clean against Nevada's glitzy, high-rolling showstopper. It's the Dice versus the Dogs, and the winners advance to the second game of tonight's doubleheader, the mega match against the WSL leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers. So, are you ready to Rollerjam? From Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, this is Rollerjam in the World Skating League. Tonight, it's the Nevada Hot Dice and the Florida Sundogs from Rollerjam Arena. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ken Resnick, along with my broadcast partner, Lee the Hawk Rehrman. And we do have updates on the Little Richard Brown situation. Commissioner Jerry Seltzer brokered a trade between the Hot Dice and the Florida Sundogs. Little Richard is now on the Hot Dice, and in return, the Florida Sundogs received the big blocker, Bill Barker. And Hawk, I think it's a trade that really benefits both teams.
Well, we all know about Richard Brown, but what Bill Barker brings to the Sundogs is a clean physical play that they sorely demand that they haven't been getting from Little Richard Brown as of late.
And certainly the Hot Dice have showed flashes of brilliance, but they were lacking the veteran leadership that Richard Brown brings to the table. The Hot Dice very pleased to have the Little Richard Brown, whatever Richard Brown, shows up as evidence by these comments from Laura Weintraub.
I'm really excited about Richard joining our team. He has so much experience. We have a lot of skaters with a lot of talent, but he's just a legend, and it's just great. The Sundogs were really stupid for getting rid of him.
Well, it sounds like the Hot Dice are happy, but my question is, how are the Sundogs going to react here tonight?
Well, earlier today, the Sundogs ran into Richard Brown, and believe you me, the greeting was anything but heartfelt. It'll be very interesting indeed, and also to see what Richard Brown focuses on, revenge or winning the game. Let's go to trackside announcer Tom Chasson.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing from the state best known for nuclear test sites and 99-cent shrimp cocktails, the Nevada Hot Dice!
And there's our first look on television at the Nevada Hot Dice. And I'll tell you, management did a great job of putting this team together because they really reflect the persona, if you will, of the state of Nevada. They're high profile, they're risk takers, they're showy, and there's a strange sight. Little Richard Brown going by in the green and white of the Hot Dice. I think this trade, Richard Brown for Bill Barker, benefits both teams. Richard Brown brings some lacking leadership to the Hot Dice.
Well, and Little Richard Brown looking like he picked up a little weight in his time off. They're going to lose some of that leadership, the Sundogs are, but they pick up some strength with Bill Barker. There's a shot of Micah Martin, brother of Sam Martin. That fraternal struggle will play out today as well.
And there you see an inner sanctum, if you will, of the Hot Dice. They call themselves the Showgirls.
And now, introducing Florida's official state animals, the Florida Sundogs!
And there are the Florida Sundogs, and Hawk, there's no question this game laced with controversy. You gotta wonder how the Sundogs will react skating against their former coach and mentor, Richard Brown. But I think Bill Barker brings a great stability to the Sundog team. They needed the big physical block.
Well, and Bill Barker provides a lot of that physical, but also the Sundogs now got rid of that cloud of controversy with Little Richard Brown. And you've got Bill Barker, a physical guy that fits the mold of the clean-cut Sundog.
There's the flame, Sam Martin. Remember, this first look on television, he's skating against his brother, Micah Martin. And there's the big question mark in my mind for the Sundog women. Denise Lowe, certainly not how she plays, one of the best skaters in the WSL, but that knee has given her a lot of problems that's going to have to hold up.
And Ken, I hate to jump on you, but we've got a shot coming up here of the Hot Dice ring girl. Her name is Marissa Diamond, and I got to make a complaint to management here. She is only the ring girl for, there she is, for the hot dice. I think we should bring her back for every darn game.
Why doesn't it surprise me you knew her name? And now, here's the starting lineup for the women. For the Sundogs, of course, Denise Loden, their captain, the speedster, Debbie Rice, Kathy Evangelo, Andrea Franklin, and Suzanne Shaleen. And starting for the hot dice, Kim Hart, very physical. Laura Weintraub, and the third member of the Showgirls, Shea Brown, along with the speedster, Mindy Smith, and Vicki McEwen. And we are just about underway as the Jammers are at the front of the starting line. And here we go. And right out, it's Kathy Evangelo breaking out for the Sundogs. And here's Laura Weintraub for the hot dice. And here comes the speedster, Debbie Rice, in the Guinness Book of World Records. But right now, Kathy Evangelo out all alone, and Debbie Rice and Mindy Smith closing.
Well, you wonder if the hot dice, this is their first time on television, are they going to be intimidated by cameras all over the building?
Weintraub goes down, and now it's Evangelo and Debbie Rice. Denise Loden dropping back in the pack, looking back for the lead jammer. Right now it's Debbie Rice. Denise Loden setting up, setting her up for the whip. And Debbie Rice, the reverse whip. Rice now picking up some speed, goes by right there, goes by one, and goes by two. Hot dice, and you see put her arms on her waist, cutting off the jam. Picks up 2 points as you do here in the WSL every time you pass a block or black the pack.
And the experience we talked about shown through there. You saw Kim Hart here at the end of the replay having some points scored right around her. Earlier, Laura Weintraub went right to the track at the hands of Debbie Rice.
2-0 Florida Sundogs as we start the second jam. And remember, after the first one, the jammers always start at the back of the pack, the blockers in front, but right now on the outside, Mindy Smith taking the whip from one of her teammates. She is the fastest of the hot dice skaters. And now Debbie Rice pursuing her. These are the two fastest gals on the track. Right now, Debbie Rice and Mindy Smith. A lot of people focused on this matchup, and this is the first clean cut. Elbow from Rice, and Smith retains her balance. Now they come around the far side. Big elbow from Mindy Smith. Shows the physical side. Debbie Rice down, Mindy Smith now. Great job of blocking by Andrea Franklin. I can't pick up her teammate. A double block set up. Kathy Evangelo and Andrea Franklin. You see Shea Brown, the biggest skater on the hot dice, whispering something to Mindy Smith. Right there, great strategy. Shea Brown breaks up the double block. Smith goes through, ties the game, and cuts off the jam.
And Mindy Smith here sends Debbie Rice to the ground. Then she was whispering to her teammate, Shea Brown, who paves the way here. She scores the points, calls off the jam.
And we're all tied up at 2. We'll be right back. Hot Dice women very accountable so far as they trail the Sundogs by only 1.
And now we get our first chance to see little Richard Brown in his hot dice uniform.
Quickly answer the rumor. Was it your secret desire always to play with this team?
No one will ever know, but I can tell you one thing, the Sun Puppies are going to regret ever letting me go.
Hawk, I can guarantee it wasn't his secret desire because you saw how mad he was, how flustered he was when the Sundogs went to the commissioner, Jerry Seltz, and said, we want to get rid of him.
Well, what the heck's a sun puppy? That's what I want to know.
Right now, Gina Lombardo breaking out for the Sundogs, and this is Laura Weintraub, one of the showgirls for the Nevada Hot Dice. Remember, the winner of this one goes into tonight's mega match against the defending leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers. And now Mindy Smith and Debbie Rice, the two speedsters for their respective teams, go down. This right now is Gina Lombardo for the Florida Sundogs as she closes in on the pack. But you see Kim Hart waiting and blocking and putting down Gina Lombardo. We talked about Kim Hart being the most physical of the Nevada Hot Dice.
And Kim Hart says Gina Lombardo. There's a shot at Gina Lombardo with her little hair weave going there as she fixes her hair. Right here, you see her off of Kim Hart right into the side of the track. The huge size advantage of Kim Hart really played a role in doing that to Gina Lombardo right there.
Well, Gina Lombardo, of course, a very slender 5'2", 115, while Kim Hart a former Miss Florida Fitness, is 5'6" and a very solid 130 pounds. Now Denise Loden blocking up front for the Sundogs. Denise Loden, truly the quarterback, reaches back, and here's a whip to Gina Lombardo. You can see the tremendous playmaking abilities of Denise Loden, blocking but still focusing on getting a jammer out, and here comes Kim Hart chasing Gina Lombardo. Kim Hart out of former Miss Florida Fitness out of Alberta, Canada, and Gina Lombardo, of course, Hawk, the North American Cream Court champion, and down she goes to Kim Hart. Hart smiling, she likes nothing better than putting people down on the track.
When you talk about cream corn, it looked like Kim Hart was chewing a little bit of that cream corn.
And now look who's in the back of the pack, Denise Loden all over the track, Loden and Hart. We've talked about they're far and away the two most physical players for their respective teams, and Kim Hart would like nothing better to make a name for herself by putting down Denise Loden. Loden went for the big elbow, Hart ducked under, picked up 1 point, and cut off the jam by putting her hands on her waist.
Well, we talk about the physical presence of Kim Hart. Right there we saw a second example of that. Gina Lombardo on the receiving end. Then we see finesse. Kim Hart first showing strength, then showing finesse, scores points, calls off the jam. Unbelievable job by Kim Hart.
Kim Hart certainly can be proud of herself on that one. And now, once again, the referees form the pack, and we are off again. And now, interestingly, Denise Loden wearing a jammer helmet for the Sundogs. And look who's right on her tail. That would be none other than Kim Hart. This could be a great, interesting matchup if they can break free. But Denise Loden now coming around on the outside, looking back to see if she's being pursued. Right now, Shea Brown gives the whip, and that is Loden and Kim Hart, this time both wearing the jammer helmets. Remember, Hart's going to be a little winded from that previous jam, but it is Loden and Kim Hart as they come around. Denise Loden, I'm sure, trying to get even for Kim Hart, picking up the point on her on the last jam. Now, Denise Loden goes by two of the hot dice. Loden just weaving back and forth in and out of the pack. Suzanne Chalene and Andrea Franklin now blocking up front, and there you see Denise Loden cutting off the jam. A great job of scoring.
Well, and what comes around goes around. Denise Loden get the better of this one. Kim Hart actually nowhere to be seen.
And Kim Hart now Denise Loden standing by with Danny Wolf.
Denise, if it isn't 3 members of the Bod Squad coming after you, it's 3 members of the Showgirls. Great last jam on them.
Thank you very much. These girls are a joke. Showgirls, feathers, glitz. Give me a break, this is a sport.
There's no question, as Denise Loden goes, so go the Sundog women. Mindy Smith now breaks out for the hot dice.
And Mindy Smith is the fastest skater in the West here in the World Skating League.
And now Andrea Franklin dropping back for the Sundogs. A great blocker as Andrea Franklin. But look at the speed of Mindy Smith, goes right by Franklin, cuts off the jam, pulls the hot dice within one. Remember, coming up, the mega match. Tonight, there you see the Sisters of Suffering waiting. Now, let's take a look at Roller Rules.
Hi, I'm Sean Atkinson, captain of the
And on the
California.
pony, Eric Slopey.
We're here to teach you a new kind
About
of...
a little kind of block called the Bulldog.
And the Bulldog's got some bite. Oh, yeah!
You have to make sure you do the Bulldog right or you're gonna get a penalty. The proper way to perform a Bulldog is to drape your arm around the person's neck and then drop the hammer. The key is to put your arm around the neck without using the head.
Like this. Oh, Daddy, what you gonna do? When the I get shot? When the I get shot? When the I get shot? Bulldogs, you! Oh, Daddy, that Bulldog is definitely illegal. Kids, don't try this at home without parent supervision.
With the score, the Sundogs 7, the Hot Dice 6. We'll be back with the man right after this.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
Welcome back. The men are on the track, and starting for the Sundogs will be the Flames, Sam Martin, Tom Smith, newly acquired Bill Barker, Sean Marshall, and David Glenny. For the Hot Dice, Mark Webber, Micah Martin, Richard Brown in the starting lineup, along with Randy Garrett and Christian Salvia. Should be very interesting, Hawk. This game we talked about laced with controversy. How will Richard Brown skate? And there's your favorite, Hawk.
Who's talking about Richard Brown? But now that you mention it, we'll see how Richard Brown's new appearance on the Hot Dice affects the Hot Dice, and more importantly, the Sundogs.
And right away, all four jammers break out, and down goes Sam Martin at the hands of his brother Micah Martin. So we've got Mark Webber, Micah Martin, and now down go the other Sundogs. This is Webber and Micah Martin for the Hot Dice. Great opportunity for the Hot Dice to pick up some points. They're flying around the track. This is Mark Webber, and there's Bill Barker. What a great job. That's why he was acquired. Another great block on Micah Martin. Bill Barker doing a great job of blocking for the Sundogs. Mark Webber now coming up. So far, none of the Hot Dice, neither Martin nor Webber, able to get back. And boy, talk about a great trade for the Sundogs. What a job Bill Barker is doing.
Well, you see some of that physicality we talked about at the outset. Bill Barker, a very large, muscular young man, is playing the hot, he's rolling the Hot Dice, Ken, and I think they're coming up snake eyes.
Down goes Micah Martin, down goes Webber, and what a great job. And look at Richard Brown and Bill Barker, some pushing and shoving. This is exactly what the Sundogs, why they wanted to get rid of Richard Brown. Look at Bill Barker, skates right away, keeping that Sundog mentality. But Hawk, what a great jab by Barker.
Well, here you see Bill Barker totally wreaking havoc on the Hot Dice and adds insult to injury to Little Richard Brown right at the end of the jam, and he gets right in Little Richard's face. Little Richard Brown, the new ugly Little Richard Brown, cannot goat Bill Barker into a fight. He's a clean player. He played clean there.
What a great job of Bill Barker. That's exactly why the Sundogs acquired him. And now after the first one, you see the jammers start at the back of the pack and have to work their way through the blockers. Remember, once they lap the pack, that's when the scoring takes place in the WSL. And right now, blockers on both teams doing a good job of keeping the jammers prevented. Now Christian Salvia gets a whip from one of his teammates, and he's the first one to break free as Barker goes into the rail. This is Salvia along with PJ Rossi. Again, the Dice have two blockers out. Bill Barker now, and there is Bill Barker. Is that Barker, Hawk?
No, it's Posse Chalene.
Posse Chalene, the former Edmonton Oiler. Great pickup on that front number. Posse Chalene goes by both of them.
Well, here's a great mix of strength and speed, does Posse Chalene.
And look at the Sundogs as they tie up the entire pack. I'm not sure what the scoring is. Christian Salvia goes by, turned around to check with the referees. In fact, the referees themselves are conferring, but now in the meantime, let's go trackside with Broadway Danny Wolf and the Flame.
Sam Martin, now you're skating against Little Richard Brown, but he's up to his old tricks as we see.
Yeah, I just noticed at the last jam they just wore on the track, and I'm ready for him now.
He was one of your mentors. What does that mean to you?
Well, he taught me how the tricks were, and now he's going to have all those tricks done right back on top of him.
There's certainly no love lost between the brothers, Sam and Micah Martin. And there you see Richard Brown battling it out. Right over the railing goes Richard Brown. And look how fast Brown scrambles right back. But boy, he is well behind the pack. Great job by the Florida Sundogs. And now finally breaking out for the Sundogs. This looks like is that Barker?
That's Sam Martin. We just talked about him.
Flame, brother against brother. Sam and Micah Martin as they break free. Great job, no love lost between these two. And down goes Micah Martin at the hands of the Flame. We have talked many times about how physical Sam Martin plays.
Well, and Micah Martin, who's a little bit taller than Sam, obviously took the elbow, and it looked like Sam Martin's done that a few times before.
Richard Brown is laying back. Richard Brown, Sam talked about him being his mentor. Now the knee, Brown brings it up to Sam Martin. Great job of keeping his balance. It looks like Cooper. Here's Posse Chalene. Barker. Oh, Barker took out his own teammate. And look at Richard Brown.
Well, and Richard Brown, we've seen him all year, this metamorphosis. He's showboating, he's gloating, and for once, you see right here, little Sam Martin goes after his bigger brother, Micah, sends him down, and the tail end of the play, you see Bill Barker that physicality worked to his disadvantage, sends Sam Martin to the canvas.
And certainly Richard Brown loving it. Remember, it was Brown that was traded for Barker after basically the Sundogs mutinied. We're underway once again. And now again, remember, after the beginning of each period, the jammers start at the back of the pack and must work their way through the blockers. And now, right now, for the Sundogs, has Jonathan Russell trying to break free. And now the hot dice, a great whip, and the dice break free.
And that was a quadruple whip, it looked like, that sent Christian Salvia way out ahead of the pack.
And now, right now, it's two Sundogs, rather two hot dice being chased by Posse Chalene. This is Salvia in the lead, but look at the skating of Posse Chalene. The former Edmonton Oiler just too fast. That hockey style took the inside of the track, and around he comes to the pack, and Chalene goes right by the entire pack, quickly pulls off the jam, puts his hands on his hips.
Well, and you see some of that explosiveness out of Posse Chalene as he blasted past the two hot dice. And then he comes into the back of the pack, shows some of that finesse after the power.
And Broadway Danny Wolf is standing by trackside with the former National Hockey Leaguer, Posse Chalene.
Posse Chalene, no more little Richard Brown on your team. How do you feel out there?
I feel confident, but our team start getting confident back, and we don't really need him. If he doesn't play Sundog way, we don't need him at all.
What do you say, Hawk?
I don't know. What are you asking me for?
I think it had something to do with the Sundogs. Do not miss Richard Brown, and certainly the way Bill Barker has been blocking. What a great trade that was for the Sundogs. Pack is forming up once again. There's the whistle. We're underway with a jam. You see the blockers in back. It's a little, the blockers rather in front, the jammers in back. Remember, after the first very jam of each period, the jammers start at the back and must wind their way through. And now Sam Martin takes the whip from David Glenny, and once again it's Micah Martin against Sam Martin, brother against brother. There is no love lost, and Hawk, both the brothers go down.
Well, we talked about this last time, and actually Sam Martin steps right on Micah Martin, insult to injury.
Well, we talked about it. There's no love lost. Now it's Tom Smith and the Flames, Sam Martin. Two jammers out for the Florida Sundogs. Very, very different scene, brother against brother, and now Smith and Martin coming up on the hot dice as they're waiting, and there's little Richard Brown waiting. We'll see what he can do 2-on-1. Hammers smart, and once again Richard Brown now goes by Barker. So far Brown doing a great job. Now he nails block. Barker, down goes Richard Brown, and both the Sundogs go by little Richard Brown. I think there, Hawk, it was a case individuality. He tried to do too much by himself.
Well, and he got himself in trouble with his showboat, and by the end, Bill Barker, who just lays an elbow into little Richard Brown. Bill Barker, you wonder how much this taunting from little Richard Brown, if Bill Barker can keep his composure, right there he might have lost it a little bit.
We'll be back with more right after this. It's halftime with the score, the Florida Sundogs 14, the Nevada Hot Dice 9. Welcome back, everyone, to Rollerjam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick, along with my partner, Lee the Hawk Rehrman. And Hawk, right now, I'd have to say, so far, the trade benefiting the Florida Sundogs. Bill Barker has been all over the track.
Well, and Richard Brown in that green and white that we're not used to as part of that Jerry Seltzer trade. It seems like he's trying to get familiar with his teammates. He's not quite there yet, but I think he might have picked it up right there at the end of the first half.
Although in difference to little Richard Brown, it is a little easier to be a blocker than to coordinate all the teammates as Richard Brown is trying to do. But certainly for the Florida Sundogs, there is no question the quarterback, their leader, none other than Denise Loden, and I think she gave Kim Hart an interesting lesson. Perhaps keep your eye more on the track and where you are than on the camera, as Kim Hart forgot where Denise Loden was, and Denise Loden just leveled her.
Well, we talk about physicality, and we've been showing Bill Barker right there. You see him going right to the upper chest here of little Micah Martin, sends him down. And I tell you what, he doesn't say too much. He doesn't squawk too much like Richard Brown, but I tell you what, he can bring the heat he can bring the physical. Bill Barker is a man to be reckoned with here in the World Skating League.
And certainly it'll be interesting to see how Little Richard reacts having one half under his belt. Now standing by trackside, off Broadway, Danny Wolf with the Martin brothers.
All right, I'm between two brothers, as you know. Sam Martin of the Sundogs, Micah Martin.
Those stupid cheap shots out there.
Hey, you're the one that stepped in my stomach, all right?
All out war now, buddy. Nothing. We're on the track. You're going down. You're dead.
Sam, you stepped on your brother's stomach with skate.
Giving me all the cheap shots out there. He's got to play right. Or else you come right back at him.
So far, Sam has gotten the upper hand on you, Micah. What are you going to do?
I'm going to come back even harder. He's always taken advantage of me because I was his younger brother, and now I'm going to come back on this track and show him who's boss.
How do you respond to that?
Bring it on, big boy.
All right, I'll take you on next period. Let's go.
Sam Martin obviously not intimidated by his younger brother, the Nevada Hot Dice. They're showy, they're gamblers now. Let's meet them.
Live on the edge, take risks, and roll the dice.
Bam!
Glitzy. I love taking risks, chances. I've always been brought up to take risks or you don't get anywhere, and we get everywhere on this team.
These dice are cool customers, but they like their nightlife hot.
On the track or off the track, when we're out partying, I party really hard and they all join in and we have a good time. So everyone's together, we're just like one unit.
The way they live by night is also the way they skate by day. Don't be afraid to bet on the Nevada Hot Dice, because they're on a roll.
Well, I tell you what, Ken, it's going to get ugly. If that's any indication, it might even get uglier here in the second half.
It is 14-9 Florida Sundogs. Remember, waiting in the wings in the mega match, the defending New York Enforcers. We'll be back with more right after this.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
As we ready for second half action, remember, coming up, the mega match, the defending leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers. Danny Wolf is in the stands with one of the Enforcers.
Shelly Russell, one of the stars of the New York Enforcers. You guys will be in the mega match, defending the leader of the pack. Who would you rather play?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins this game because we are the leaders of the pack, and it's going to stay that way.
So far, you've really been coming to your own lately. You're one of the leading jammers in the league right now. What's gotten into you, Shelly?
I just do my job with the help of the Sisters of Suffering, and we're going to kick butt no matter what.
That's Shelly Russell, and believe you me, all the Enforcers are keeping a hot eye on these two teams because they are waiting in the wings. The winner of this one goes on to tonight's mega match against the New York Enforcers. Andrea Franklin and Laura Weintraub goes down. Franklin, uncharacteristic, a forearm to Weintraub. Perhaps a controversy in the heat of this matchup, getting to both. Now, coming out, that is Debbie Rice, the speedster, and Mindy Smith, the two fastest gals on the track for their respective teams. Debbie Rice in the Guinness Book of World Records, and she flies around the track, but look right here. Smith sends her into the railing, and Mindy Smith is staying right with her. And Kim Hart and Denise Loden laying back. This is Hart and Loden going back on both Smith and Rice, and so far both doing great jobs. We talked about Loden and Hart, far and away the most physical players of each of their teams. There's a close-up of Kim Hart.
Well, she definitely is a physical player for the Hot Dice, and she's one of the showgirls. And here comes Denise Loden. We can't talk about it for more than 30 seconds that I have them get into some kind of confrontation. These two, not only do they not have any love lost for each other, but they are definitely the spiritual leaders of their teams.
Now it'll be very interesting. You saw Kim Hart put the jammer helmet on. You've got to know Denise Loden will be keeping a very sharp eye on her. And right now, Kara Friedman, a newcomer to the Sundogs, and Gina Lombardo breaking out, being trailed by Kim Hart. Hart, we talked about, somewhat deceivingly fast, trying to catch up to the two Sundogs. This is Friedman and Lombardo right now. And there Kim Hart takes Friedman down, and now it's Gina Lombardo and Kim Hart. We talked about Hart being the most physical of the hot dice players, and now it's Lombardo, cream court champion, goes down to Kim Hart. And there's Andrea Franklin and Kathy Evangelo laying back. And so far, Hart being able to get by the double block. We've talked about what a great job, yeoman's job of blocking Andrea Franklin does, but right there, Kim Hart ducks underneath the two Sundogs and picks up 2 points and cuts off the jam.
Well, I tell you, Ken, in that jam, we've been talking about her all day. Here's Kim Hart physically taking Gina Lombardo for about the 5th time today under her rear end. But then she shows that finesse. We talk about her strength. There's her movement underneath the double arm block of the Sundogs. Great job by Kim Hart.
I've got to say, the Nevada Hot Dice, our first look at them, are showing a great amount of teamwork, and one can only speculate if that could be due to the newly acquired leadership of Richard Brown. But now the whistle goes and the Jammers are on the track and breaking out now. This is Kathy Evangelo taking the whip from Denise Loden. Evangelo breaks out for the Florida Sundogs, and Hawks, so far it's been a very evenly fought game.
Well, Kathy Evangelo is way out ahead of the pack. I'm thinking these hot dice may be getting a little bit tired, Ken. We've seen a very active Kim Hart. This is their first time on television. I talked about it early. They might be a little bit winded now with all the excitement of this new venue that they're on.
Now, one thing you've got to say, the Florida Sundogs do a great job of keeping their jammers fresh. They interchange them, something we have not seen quite so much of from the Nevada Hot Dice. Mindy Smith, their speedster, is out on almost every jam, as you see Kathy Evangelo winding her way through the pack. Kim Hart right there trying to take her down. Hart again wearing the blocker helmet. But again, you've got to give a lot of credit to Denise Loden, the way she's coaching these Sundog women, keeping her jammers fresh.
Well, and you saw Kathy Evangelo doubling over after a shot to the stomach, and that's Kim Hart.
And Denise Loden. Sean Corbett trying to break it up. Kim Hart and Denise Loden. We talked about the two physical play. And remember, early on I mentioned Kim Hart made no bones about the fact she knows if she takes down Denise Loden, that makes a very big name for herself in the WSL. Denise Loden doesn't seem to be too affected by Kim Hart's Pearl Harbor attack.
Well, and I got to say that Denise Loden, always being a star here as a Sundog in the World Skating League, Kim Hart really making her presence known today. I've got to think that Denise Loden might be a little bit jealous of the attention Kim Hart's getting today.
Well, right now it'll be interesting because Kim Hart and Denise Loden both received 1 jam penalty, so each team without their spiritual and physical leaders. But Debbie Rice, smart move by the Sundogs, putting their speedster out, and she flies around, and Mindy Smith is right there with her. Smith and Rice, and remember, Loden and Hart in the penalty box. No big blockers. It should prove very interesting as they close on the pack. Debbie Rice now with the inside. She's in the Guinness Book of World Records. And Debbie Rice, a great job, goes by the pack. Rice showing her speed. Smith staying right with her. Both jammers lap the pack once and go again, and perhaps got a little tired as they both go down.
Well, these two were attached at the hip for the whole jam. And what started out as them scoring points, now they're actually keeping it going by fighting with each other.
I'll tell you what, a yeoman's job by Debbie Rice and Mindy Smith. They're going to run out of time, and Mindy Smith comes back with a forearm on the back of Debbie Smith, but I think she was so tired it had little or no effect on Rice.
Well, you saw Mindy Smith go to the head of Debbie Rice, and I think that might have been a cheap shot, but here we see both Debbie Rice and Mindy Smith lap the pack, score the points, and after they score the points, they both go down together. Now they're fighting together. These two look like they might have rode here to the arena together.
Well, I'll tell you, Hawk, it's been very interesting. The two matchup we talked about, Hart and Loaded from a physical standpoint, and Smith and Rice from a speed standpoint, have certainly come into play. And right now, both of these teams are saying never say die, and we're underway once again. And now breaking out, Debbie Rice, unbelievable with Denise Loden. But how can Rice talk about stamina right out in front? But now she's got Denise Loden right with her, and this should be proved to be very interesting. Chased by Kim Hart and one of the other Nevada Hot Dice as they come around the curve. The matchup we've talked about. Mindy Smith and Kim Hart, Denise Loden and Debbie Rice, the 4 superstars of their respective teams. Interestingly, all wearing jammer helmets. Now look at a great move, a double tomahawk by Denise Loden, turning around, taking down both the Nevada Hot Dice. And you can see just how winded Debbie Rice really is. And coming up, Kim Hart, certainly the physical leader, is standing by with Broadway Danny Wolf. But there again, the double tomahawk by Denise Loden. Danny, Wolf, and Kim Hart take it away.
Kim Hart, you've done nothing but berate and taunt Denise Loden the whole game so far.
You know what it is she is like the Miss Goody Two-Shoes with a halo around her head. And let me tell you, folks, she's not all that.
And you are? And you are?
Oh, yeah. Don't believe those rumors. They're all rumors. You know, like people like to talk, you know, when they're jealous of me. And let me tell you, she can pick on the younger girls, but she's not going to get me.
And it's really getting physical out here. Denise Loden obviously shaken up a little bit. You wonder how long they can stick with it. We'll be right back.
It's the Florida Sundogs 21, the Nevada Hot Dice 18. And Hawk, it's interesting, it's all coming down to the men, but the Hot Dice have been hanging around very close in the scoreboard.
Well, and Sam and Micah Martin, we've talked about the rivalry. And Micah Martin, the younger yet bigger one, seems to have a little bit of a mouth on him. We'll see how that rivalry plays out as we get down to nut cutting time.
And older brother Sam certainly seems centered on the Hot Dice, not his brother.
The Hot Dice, you know, they come from the Vegas background, you know, gambling and taking chances and risks and stuff, and I've never known anyone to go to Las Vegas and actually come out ahead.
I can't say I don't agree with Sam Martin. I know whenever I get out to Las Vegas, I love to say hello to the money I've left there over the years.
Well, I don't even know if Sam Martin's old enough to gamble, so I don't know what the heck he's talking about.
Period 4 is underway, and always when we start a period, all 4 jammers come right off the starting line. And right now it's Rossi and Salvia for the Hot Dice, Tom Smith and Jonathan Russell for the Sundogs. They're all grouped together. And now one of the Sundogs goes down. It's 2-on-1 Hot Dice. And still Tom Smith is up for the Sundogs, and now he's down. And a great opportunity for the Hot Dice. This is Rossi and Salvia coming around the track.
Well, this is the last period, Ken, so if these guys got anything left, they're going to have to expend it now.
This is why the Sundogs got Bill Barker in the trade for Little Richard. You see the great blocking he has done all throughout this matchup. Bill Barker almost single-handedly taking care of both the Hot Dice Jammers and Richard Brown. Great yeoman's job by Bill Barker.
And you get a good shot of the physicality of Bill Barker. Those elbows that usually by most people only slow guys down.
And now let's go trackside. Here's Broadway Danny Wolf.
Denise, what is wrong? You got injured on the last jam of the quarter. What's wrong?
I think I may have torn my knee again. I'm not sure. Regardless, I'm going to have the trainer tape it up, and I'll be ready to go for the next game.
Kim Hart has been talking a lot of trash about you, saying you're a camera hog. How do you respond to that?
Just look at her. Just look at her.
Look at her.
She claims to be Kim Hart, the heartbreaker. Well, if you call sleeping with a different guy every day of the week a heartbreaker, then I suppose she is.
Hawk, you need to comment on that one. I'm
the heartbreaker,
way out of it.
Can I sing it? Heartbreaker, dream maker. I know, keep my day job.
Here we go. It's this brother against brother breaking out for both teams. It's Sam Martin for the Sundogs, Micah Martin, the younger of the two brothers for the Nevada Hot Dice. And the knee from the younger brother to the older brother. Great job of staying on his feet by Sam Martin. Brother against brother, the elbow. You know these two want to prove to one another more than any two skaters on the track.
Well, the sibling rivalry here adds obviously an element of violence that, I tell you what, I would hate to have been their parents growing up.
Great job of blocking by Mark Weber. Micah Martin sees his brother go over the track, taunts him a little bit, and cuts it off because he knows he picked up a point. Now, brother against brother jawing. You would have thought Micah Martin looked over to see if his brother was okay, but now very smartly, the Hot Dice get it between the two of the referees trying to keep this one broken up.
Well, in this sibling rivalry that started out with the two brothers, here you see Micah Martin and Sam Martin going around. Posse Shalina number 37, Mark Weber. and then they both end up on the track. Actually, Sam Martin, the Flame, ends up off the track. Micah calls off the jam, and a fist fight ensues.
Good job of the referees by Sean Corbin, especially keeping order restored. Now you see the jammers in the back of the pack trying to weird their way through. This is Bill Barker right at the front of the pack, along with Little Richard. What a yeoman job Barker's done. Now, Christian Salvia trying to get the whip, and he goes down. And now coming around for the Sundogs, this is Posse Chalene, the Edmonton Oiler. You can see Chalene, he's got that hockey style of skating, keeps both arms moving. Posse Chalene now in the lead as they come around the corner, trying to catch up, and looks like Vinny Moramondo for the hot dice, but Posse Chalene closes in on the pack. Look at the job of blocking led by Bill Barker. The Sundogs keep the entire pack pinned against the rail.
Well, and Posse Chalene, you know, he's a big skater, but here you see some of that explosiveness. Vinny Moramondo's no match for him. Posse Chalene blasts past the group, calls off the jam after he scores the points.
Great job by the Sundogs. We'll be back with more right after this. It's the Florida Sundogs 25, the Nevada Hot Dice 20, and Hawk, there's no question, if this score stays as it is, it'll stick in Richard Brown's craw.
Winner moves on, loser goes home.
So far, the Florida Sundogs have been doing a fantastic job of teamwork, and right there again, Hawk, I've got to say, Posse Chalene has done a phenomenal job of picking up and showing a tremendous amount of leadership as Tom Smith breaks out.
Well, at Posse Chalene, we always talk about his physical ability, but he doesn't have too much of that emotional, I guess, additive that gets him pumped up and excited. He seems to be emerging from the shadow of Little Richard Brown.
And Mark Webber sends Tom Smith right into the whale. This is Mark Webber. The Hot Dice need some points, and take a look. A double block being set up by David Glenny and Bill Barker. Can Webber get by? And Little Richard hanging back, and surprisingly, I don't know what Little Richard's trying to impart some strategy. The double block still by Barker and Glenny. Little Richard setting up to give the wick to Webber, and Webber is able to go through and cut off the jam, but a great job of strategy by Little Richard. In fact, Little Richard now, and there you see, as Tom Smith goes right head first to the railing, Broadway Danny Wolf standing by with Little Richard.
Richard, tremendous whip right there for Mark Webber. You guys, though, still trail by a few points.
The Sun Puppies are going to regret they ever let me go. I'm going to whoop them every chance I get.
You only got 2 minutes to do that.
That's all I need.
I don't know, Little Richard might be biting off a little more than he could chew, because so far, led by the leadership of Posse Chalene and the blocking of Bill Barker, the Sundog men have done a great job, and now you see Sam Martin trying to get the whip, but it kind of backfired as his brother breaks free. Once again, we've got brother against brother with one of the hot dice coming up from the back. But right now it's Sam and Micah. Sam for the Sundogs, the older of the two brothers. But Micah Martin has done a very good job of tagging with his brother all game today. And now it's Micah Martin all by himself. Remember, the hot dice are trailing in this one. Here comes Micah Martin. Little Richard sets David Glenny into the rail. And now it's Little Richard against Bill Barker, and this time Little Richard gets the best of him. Remember, waiting in the wings, coming up shortly, the New York Enforcers. The winner of this one advances to the mega match against the Enforcers.
Well, and you see a fantastic move here by Micah Martin first. He sends his brother down to the track, and then he comes up with number 38, Randy Garrett, paving the way, goes around number 14, that's Sean Marshall. But I want you to watch this move right here. The bigger, more physical Bill Barker, actually it's Posse Chalene, Micah Martin goes right around him, and as we're back to live action, we see the emotions running high.
And look at a very smart move. We talked about the leadership of Posse Chalene, keeping Sam Martin away from his brother, knowing the Sundogs have the lead, and they want to go on to this mega match.
Well, and whoever goes into the mega match, this emotional ending here is going to have to take a little bit away from them, a little wind out of their sails.
Because guaranteed they'll have a physical matchup. That happens anytime the New York Enforcers are on the track, and they are the defending leaders of the pack. Now, once again, breaking out, it's again the Martin brothers, Sam and Micah. And there you see how close it is. There's the score, 30 seconds left in the jam. And down goes Micah, and here comes Sam Martin all alone. Sam Martin, as the Sundogs are down by 1 as a result of that last jam. It's all on the shoulders of the Flame as he comes around the pack.
Well, we showed Micah Martin. It seemed like he had a little bit of better of the battle of the brothers today, but it looks like Sam Martin maybe poured it on when he has to.
Look at controversy here. It comes down to Sam Martin and Little Richard battling it out. 3 seconds. Bill Barker is back, and now Bill Barker nails Little Richard. Sam Martin goes by, gets the entire pack and cuts it off. Remember, at the end of a period, the 60-second jam clock goes to its entirety. What a jam by Sam Martin as he wins it for the Florida Sundogs as they are now challenging the leaders of the pack.
Well, he really came to play when it counted. You see Posse Shalene lowering the boom on Little Richard Brown, and then you see Bill Barker pave the way for Sam Martin to score the points for the victory.
A great win for the Sundogs. In fact, speaking of Barker, he's standing by with our Broadway Danny Ward.
Bill Barker, tremendous effort tonight. Nice debut on the Sundogs. Now it's the mega match against the Enforcers.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this. You know, that's a talented group over there. You know, I used to be with them, but this is a perfect fit.
Get out of here, Weber. This interview's not with you. There's a prime example of what you just left. I'm sure you're glad.
This is a way better fit for me. They're talented, a good team, but these guys skate the game the way I skate the game. This is perfect for me.
Now, Richard Brown, different story. Mark D'Amato's going to be gunning for you, and Tim Washington. Really quickly, how do you address that?
Oh, bring it on. I'm ready for it, you know. Those guys are big, they're tough, but, you know, when push comes to shove, I'm ready.
Well, he says he's ready, but he better conserve some of that energy because there's a lot of roller jamming left here in the World Skating League.
The final score of this first game, the Florida Sundogs 30 and the Nevada Hot Dice 26. The question is, will Bill Barker be the missing ingredient the Sundogs need to defeat the defending leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers? The mega match coming up right after this. If you just tuned into Rollerjam, you missed the Florida Sundogs advance to their first ever mega match. Now the Dogs' leading clean ways will be put to the test by the WSL's leaders of the pack. Enforcer Captain Mark D'Amato is dying to get a shot at Florida's new leader.
They got Bill Barker on their team now. This guy is a dream come true for me. He doesn't fight back. He's dealing with 215 pounds of hustle and muscle.
D'Amato is more like 215 pounds of flab and blab.
I have a move for him tonight that nobody has ever seen.
Now the Sundogs versus the Enforcers. Are you ready to mega match? We're back, everyone, and coming up now, the mega match. It will be the Florida Sundogs, just victorious over the Nevada Hot Dice, taking on the defending leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers. And Hawk, there's no question, Bill Barker showed his worth to the Florida Sundogs. His blocking was all over the track, and you could just see the Sundogs gaining strength from the way Barker was handling the Hot Dice.
Well, Bill Barker's a physical guy, but now he's going against Mark D'Amato and the New York Enforcers. And Mark D'Amato, as we saw earlier, has promised something unbelievable. And that guy, I don't want him promising something unbelievable against me. So I don't know what Bill Barker, what's going through his mind right now.
He is as diabolical as they come, and the question is, can Bill Barker stay true to form? Can he, in fact, not fight back against the diabolical Mark D'Amato and certainly Big Tim Washington?
I was going to say, let's not forget about Tim Washington. You know, there's 280 pounds of additional meat looking at Bill Barker.
Now remember, coming up in the first period, it will be the women, and this will be a renewal of a tremendous rivalry here in the WSL. We're talking about Heather Gunn, the Pan American gold medal winner from the New York Enforcers, against the Guinness Book of World Record holder Debbie Rice, the fastest woman in the WSL on skates. And now, as the New York Enforcers await their entrance, let's go trackside to Tom Chesson.
Introducing the team that believes rules are meant to be broken and broken and broken, the New York Enforcers!
Hawk, I don't think there can be any question about it. The New York Enforcers have got to be licking their chops. One, the Florida Sundogs just coming off a very hard-fought win over the Hot Dice. And two, the Sundogs say they are not going to fight back.
Well, and the Sundogs against the Hot Dice had nothing like a good shot of these two, Mark D'Amato and Tim Washington. And there's another one, Brian Gamble. These guys are physical, they're intimidating, and the Hot Dice gave them a little bit to kind of get them warmed up. We'll see how these Enforcers take on these Sundogs who, I don't know if they can kind of muscle up in the second game.
It'll be very interesting. Now the starting lineup for the Florida Sundogs will be Captain Denise Loden, Andrea Franklin, Gina Lombardo, the speedster Debbie Rice, and Suzanne Shaleen. For the Enforcers, Shelley Rossell, who's really come into her own. Janet Abraham, one of the best blockers in the league. The speedster Heather Gunnan, April Tootle, and Karen Magnuson round out the starting five for the New York Enforcers. And there you see the teams on the starting line. This is the only time at the beginning of each period the Jammers break right out in front. And for the Enforcers, it is Shelley Rossell and Gina Lombardo. For the Sundogs, and they both go down. And now this is Heather Gunnan, the speedster, 3 gold medals in the Pan American Games. Gunnan looking back, but right now, as Lombardo begins to close on her, Heather Gunnan, and now it's big Denise Loden. And Loden nails Gunnan with an elbow, and now they are neck and neck. I beg your pardon, it is Debbie Rice. This is the two speedsters, Heather Gunnan and Debbie Rice. Sometimes talk with that long hair, it's tough to tell the numbers.
Well, we haven't had a matchup yet between these two that didn't materialize, with Debbie Rice and Heather Gunnan ending up in a fist fight. And we are a minute into this first jam of this first period, and we already saw them getting into it.
And a smart move by Debbie Rice. She saw Gunnan go down and looked around, saw Gunnan getting back up, and decided to play it safe and cut off the jam. Alert play by Debbie Rice. Picked up one, and now jam number 2. This time the Jammers, remember, start at the back of the pack. And look at Denise Loden showing her presence, a big elbow by this captain, and she is winding it up again. That's Edie Bowman, and Bowman meets the big elbow of Denise Loden. Now Andrea Franklin, a leg whip from Denise Loden. Andrea Franklin springs free. Candy Evangelo for the Florida Sundogs, who lead this one by a score of 1-0.
Well, we talked about Denise Loden coming into tonight's first part of the mega match as having been injury-plagued lately. She's setting a precedent here early with physical play already. I don't know how long that can hold up against Janet Abraham and the Sisters of Suffering.
Look at a great move by Denise Loden. Takes down Janet Abraham and a whole host of New York Enforcers. And Kathy Evangelo looks like she caught her leg underneath her.
And here you see Denise Loden going right into the pit of the Sisters of Suffering, and Janet Abraham and I believe Shelley Rossell go down. There's Kathy Evangelo showing injury.
I'll tell you, the Sundogs already tired from the first game, can ill afford an injury, but we'll be back with more great WSL action right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Rollerjam Arena. And Hawk, a bit of a surprise so far in this one.
Well, the Sundogs off to a quick start, but let's see if they can continue that going into the end of the first period.
And there you see the score. The Florida Sundogs lead the New York Enforcers by a score of 3-0. The pack formed, and we are underway with another jam. And Hawk, surprisingly, the Enforcers have not been near as physical as I would have thought.
Well, the Sisters of Suffering, led by Janet Abraham, last time spent a little bit more time on their rear ends than they anticipated coming into the mega match.
Karen Magnuson now out jamming for the Enforcers. And here comes Andrea Franklin for the Florida Sundogs. Andrea Franklin, the former Las Vegas showgirl. Big elbow to Karen Magnuson. Magnuson and Franklin both doing a good job of keeping their center of balance, both staying on their feet.
And Karen Magnuson, as we remember, always talks about getting a new tattoo and or a new piercing after each kill. I wonder if she's going to need another one after that, Ken.
Big elbow from Magnuson, and now she closes in on the pack. And that's Suzanne Chalene now back trying to block along with Gina Lombardo, and a great job right there. Great presence shown by Karen Magnuson where she was on the track. Went inside, looked at the pack, and then went up and outside. Karen Magnuson showing a lot of smart thinking on her skates, although you couldn't tell it by the men enforcers. But there you see the big elbow that sent Andrea Franklin down and allowed Karen Magnuson to reach the pack unimpeded, and a good job she did.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
Hawk, you did a great job of giving that internet address on. I'm proud of you, bud.
Well, thank you, my friend.
And we are back. The pack is formed. The referees blow their whistle. Denise Loden out blocking right at the front of the pack, keeping a sharp eye out, ready to enforce her jammers. And now Heather Gunnan comes out, receiving a big whip from Shelley Rossell. This is Heather Gunnan. Remember, 3 gold medals in the Pan Am Games. As fast as they are now coming up, this is Kara Friedman, and Hawk, I don't know that Friedman has the speed to stay with Gunnan.
Well, not only that, but I wanted to make a comment about when Heather Gunnan went past Denise Loden. She took a big swing at her almost, Ken. She didn't connect, but this could get ugly if that kind of behavior keeps up.
Kara Friedman gets a double elbow from Gunnan and Magnuson, and now they are all alone, closing in on the pack. A golden opportunity right here as big Janet Abraham separates 2 of the Sundogs. Magnuson goes through, puts points on the board, and cuts off the jam. As you have come to know, that's how you cut off a jam. There's Kara Friedman taking the double elbow. Remember, anytime a lead jammer after 30 seconds of a jam can cut it off by putting her hands on her waist, and Magnuson did just that.
And Karen Magnuson, part of the Sister of Suffering, you got a great shot right there of Janet Abraham paving the way for her Sister of Suffering to score points. Great job of the Sisters of Suffering.
And it is a big, big jam, 8-3 New York Enforcers. Heather Gunnan coming out along with Debbie Rice, the 2 faster perhaps skaters in all the World Skating League. And there's a good look as they go low on the curves and then come high on the straightaways. And a big elbow from Debbie Rice, playing very physical, puts Heather Gunnan down as the Sundogs are down 8-3. A great opportunity as Florida can ill afford to let the Enforcers get too big a lead. They've already played 1 game. Kathleen Evangelo reaching back, a whip to Rice, and now 2 more by her teammates. Denise Loden sends April Tootle into the boards, and Debbie Rice picking up some points, now closing in on Linda Leisure. Denise Loden puts Leisure down. Oh, great teamwork here. Denise Loden leading the way for Debbie Rice.
Well, Denise Loden right here, we talk a lot about the physical plays of the Sisters of Suffering. Denise Loden was a 1-person wrecking crew, as you see the Enforcers kind of clean up at the end there, not before the Sundogs scored some points with Denise Loden paving the way.
Mark D'Amato, you're sitting here with a smile on your face. You love playing Florida, don't you?
Listen, Broadway, believe me when I say I never step on this track without doing my homework. I have studied him. I know his every weakness. Barker, I got one thing to say to you. You come at me with all you got, and I guarantee you it will not be enough.
Well, Mark D'Amato, never at a loss for words, issuing a very strong challenge to Bill Barker. Well, we'll get to see if Bill Barker's up to the challenge coming up in the next period. It could get really ugly, Ken.
But now, right now, this is Shelley Rossell. The Enforcers have really emerged almost as a 2-jam women team, and Shelley Rossell and Heather Gunnan. Rossell has a jam. She's a bit rested, as you can tell, as she is flying around the track. Doesn't have a lot of time left on the jam clock. You see it right there, 33 seconds left. The Enforcers are leading at 8-6. Here comes Shelley Rossell on the pack. Denise Loden and Andrea Franklin back. Nice job of blocking right there by Andrea Franklin and Denise Loden. Now Franklin may try and pit her against the rail. Does so. Rossell unable to get by it. Denise Loden, the second elbow, puts Shelley Rossell down under 15 seconds. But here comes Heather Gunnan finally springing free. Denise Loden and Franklin calling up Heather Gunnan. No love lost there. As we're under 10 seconds. Oh, and Loden puts her down, and now she's calling her back. But we'll run out of time. Great job of tandem blocking
by Andrea Franklin and Denise Loden. And I tell you, Ken, sometimes I wonder when you watch Janet Abraham, she's very good, but she's not aggressive enough at the back of the pack.
We'll be back with more WSL action, the Sundogs and the Enforcers, right after this. The New York Enforcers 8, the Florida Sundogs 6, and Hawk the men are on the track.
Well, now we get to see the five-borough lineout who have set their sights on Bill Barker.
And while we're away, some handiwork on the part of Mark D'Amato, Tim Washington, and the New York Enforcers welcoming Bill Barker, if you will, to the Florida Sundogs. And Hawk, remember, D'Amato said he has something special in store for Bill Barker.
Well, he also said he felt sorry for these Sundogs because they had to play clean. I think we refer to them as low-hanging fruit. Well, I don't think he feels sorry for the Sundogs.
We will find out. And starting for those Florida Sundogs, Jonathan Russell, the newly acquired Bill Barker, David Glennie, Sean Marshall, and Sam Martin. For the New York Enforcers, Captain Mark D'Amato, Brian Gamble, Tim Washington, J.R. Widener, and John the Skull Morrissey. This should prove to be very interesting. I really don't know, Hawk, if the Sundogs can stay with the New York Enforcers unless they step up their physical game. And right off the bat for the Sundogs, breaking out almost as always, this is Sam the Flame Martin and Jonathan Russell. I beg your pardon, it was Russell and J.R. Widener. Russell goes down. J.R. Widener now all alone. None of the Sundogs have been able to break up. Now you see Bill Barker right at the back waiting for J.R. Widener. Widener trying to use his speed to get by him. So far, no luck. Bill Barker, that's why he was brought to these Sundogs. We saw it in the first game, but look at Mark D'Amato laying in wait and absolutely Hawk leveled Bill Barker.
Well, we talked about the physical play of Bill Barker, a very large, muscular young man. Well, he had a game earlier where he wasn't contested physically. Well, if he was prepared for that here, he's not going to get it. As you see Jonathan Russell take a shot to the head from J.R. Widener, but watch Mark D'Amato in the corner of your screen with a shot to the chest. Wow, I tell you, Bill Barker, if he gets up from that just by getting up, he's a very strong young man. Wow.
No question, Mark D'Amato had that forearm cocked, and it is 9-7. A nice jam on the part of J.R. Widener, 9-7 Enforcers. This is a mega match. Remember, the Enforcers are two-time defenders, leaders of the pack. They're trying for their third straight mega match. And this is J.R. Widener breaking out for the New York Enforcers, along with Tom Smith for the Florida Sundogs. Widener, his second straight jam. He had a very successful jam minutes ago. And now Tom Smith puts perhaps a little tired Widener down. Back there is Mark D'Amato and Big Tim Washington with some greeting committee. He gets by one. Oh, great job by Smith. Gets by them both. Remember, once he passes a jammer, a blocker, great move going under D'Amato. Remember, once you pass the blocker, the point stays on the board. They don't come off. What a move.
Ken, I gotta tell you, I just can't contain my enthusiasm about Tom Smith. You remember those cartoons when you were a kid about the small minnow, like getting away from the big shark? Well, Tom Smith was the most unbelievable one-man wrecking crew of the Enforcers. You see him right here even. He starts out with a little physical, but he goes around. That was Mark D'Amato first. Then you see Tim Washington goes over him. He goes around Brian Gamble, number 19. And then finally, Morrissey the Skull. Unbelievable. Tom Smith was with an unbelievable show of finesse, strength, heads-up play, totally dominated the New York Enforcers. That was Tom Smith's jam.
You've got to wonder if Tom Smith has a little extra adrenaline going as the Sundogs take the lead 10-9. Smith is from the state of New York, the city Syracuse. Tom Smith, 5'60", 140. Now here's Sam Martin and John the Skull Morrissey out. Sam the Flame Martin for the Sundogs goes down, got a little tangle up. Morrissey now all alone, closing on the pack. The Enforcers did not like to trail, and right now they are doing just that, trailing the Sundogs.
Well, John Morrissey, before the game tonight, Ken, said that he really hates people calling him mean names. He says he's a really nice guy.
Right, and I'm the President of the United States.
Well, Mr. President, let me tell you something.
Bill Barker now hammering away at John the Skull Morrissey. Barker doing a great, great job. Oh, and there again, almost a replay. Mark D'Amato nailed him with a big forearm, and down goes Barker.
Well, I hope you know Bill Barker, this is the second time he's been on the receiving end of a bait and switch, so to speak. Kind of a lost leader from some of my marketing classes in college. You see him, one or the other, right here. It's number 13, John Morrissey. Actually, that's him knocking down Sam Martin. But here, you see Bill Barker with our John Morrissey setting him up, and then Mark D'Amato with the, not even a cheap shot, it's legal, takes him down.
We're all tied at 10. Very good point, Hawk. The forearm was below the neck. Perfectly legal in the World Skating League. Very physical. And now Tim Washington gives the big whip to Dan Gavani as Gavani is loose for the enforcers. Gavani trying to pick up speed, and he's being trailed by Sam the Flame Martin.
Well, Dan Gavani, he also talked to him before the game, and he said, quit calling me the ugliest skater in the World Skating League. He yelled at me, Ken. These guys are starting to pick on me.
And now Gavani and Fred Eichhorn double-team Martin.
But he is the ugliest skater. Look at him.
Bill Barker nails them both. Barker obviously doing a yeoman's job of blocking here. This is Eichhorn and Morrissey. What a job of blocking by Bill Barker, making that trade for Little Richard look very, very good. And again, takes two of the enforcers down and a third, and still goes after. He's got an elbow lift for Tim Washington. Bill Barker absolutely cleaning house. No points. What a job by Barker.
Well, and he did this coming right off of those two screamer moves by Tim Washington, or by Mark D'Amato, and it doesn't take long for Mark D'Amato to actually pick up where he left off as him and Bill Barker go at it in the infield.
You guys get rolling. Get rolling.
Mark D'Amato, referee Sean Corbin telling the pack to get rolling, not handing out any penalties. But, you know, there could be the same thing going for Barker as Tom Smith, because Bill Barker also from New York, Rochester, New York, 6 feet 205, knowing his home state fans are probably watching this one skating against his home state enforcers.
Well, and you saw Bill Barker right there getting physical with all the enforcers. I tell you, the enforcers aren't used to people fighting back, and Bill Barker said before the game he wasn't going to, but the enforcers seem to be getting a little bit under the skin of Bill Barker. So far it's been legal. We'll see if he can keep his cool.
Well, I will say he hasn't fought back, but he's been as physical as any player on the team, but we're still all tied up. It is 10 apiece. The Florida Sundogs and New York Enforcers in this mega match. Remember, the Enforcers, two-time defending leaders of the pack. Now D'Amato is at the front of the pack, and here's Hawk, your favorite skater. Dan Gavani springs loose.
Well, how can they not say he's the ugliest skater in the World Skating League? I tell you what, I'm going to keep saying that. I don't care what he says.
And I am not going to get anywhere near that line, Hawk. If you want to, be my guest, my friend. And now coming up for the Sundogs is Jonathan Russell chasing after Dan Gavani. Gavani tees up the elbow, doesn't have any effect on Russell. Russell this time goes out and over the rail. Now Gavani closing in, and there's Bill Barker back to meet him. Barker again to look at Tim Washington directing traffic, trying to tell Gavani to take the high road, that he'll take care of Barker.
Well, and I don't believe Jonathan Russell.
Oh my God! Look at Mark D'Amato. That may have been the move. That may have been the secret move. A back body drop from D'Amato on Bill Barker. D'Amato goes all the way out into the crowd.
And unbelievable, he was talking about a secret weapon. We saw the screamer twice as Mark D'Amato hups and hollers for the crowd. Here's an earlier shot of Jonathan Russell going out of the track. But this right here is, oh my gosh, that is Mark D'Amato's secret weapon. I don't know if he has a name for it. I guess it's just called the secret weapon.
But going back to my wrestling days, Hawk, that's a classroom back body drop. Unbelievable. Mark D'Amato, his secret weapon unveiled. We'll be back with more right after this.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
It's the New York Enforcers 13, the Florida Sundogs 10, and it's halftime. Welcome back, everyone, to Rollerjam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick, along with my broadcast partner, Lee the Hawk Rehrman. And certainly on the women's side, the story was the domination of the New York Enforcers, Karen Magnuson and Heather Gunnan. But without a doubt, the big story of that first half was Mark D'Amato, and whatever that was, he put on Bill Barker. And I'll tell you what, you got to give D'Amato credit. He does what he says.
Well, Bill Barker's a big physical guy. There you see a shot from Mark D'Amato into the chest of Bill Barker. But what we're talking about was whatever that is. He called, before the show, he said he promised something unbelievable. And I think Bill Barker got firsthand what unbelievable means. And I'm wondering what the heck he calls that thing.
You know, I'll tell you, it was interesting in the first highlight, Hawk, when Barker flattened, or rather I should say when D'Amato flattened Barker, D'Amato also went down, and I think D'Amato said, I got to pull something out of my bag of tricks, and boy, he certainly did that, because in that move, whatever it was, Barker had no chance.
Well, I think D'Amato's angry all the time. I think Bill Barker just happened to be on the receiving end of what he promised would be unbelievable, and it was.
I'll tell you what, Broadway Danny Wolf is standing by trackside with Mark D'Amato, and Danny, I don't envy you talking to Mark D'Amato, but let's see if you can find out what that move was.
Mark D'Amato? What the heck was that move?
You people have just witnessed the debut of the Eliminator. It has been designed and fashioned and is a tribute to the late, great Ralphie Valadares. And I will continue to use this move against the Sundogs and any other team that tries to challenge me. I am the most dangerous man on skates.
Real quickly, Mark, come here. What are you talking about?
New York, don't forget it.
Well, I guarantee it certainly did eliminate Bill Barker on that jam, but we've talked about what a great addition he is to the Sundogs. Let's take an up-close look and meet Bill Barker.
With the Florida Sundogs burning out of control, the man brought in to put out the flames was volunteer fireman Bill Barker. Barker's quiet living and clean skating were at odds with his former teammates on the Nevada Hot Dice.
I kind of knew that I'd never fit in with the hot dice when every morning I'd be getting up to go work out and they'd be just getting in from partying all night.
Then came the blockbuster trade that sent Richard Brown to the dice and brought Bill Barker to Florida. He joins the Sundogs as one of the premier blockers in the World Skating League, and he's determined to get Florida back on track. A stellar athlete, Bill Barker won 9 varsity letters and earned All-American honors as a wrestler at Brockport State. With his athletic ability and his moral character, it's no wonder that Barker has earned the nickname Captain America.
Certainly can't take fault with Captain America, a perfect name for Bill Barker, and he will need those superpowers in the second half with the Enforcers leading at 13-10. We'll be right back. It's 13-10 New York Enforcers, and Hawk, the Sundog women have some work to do.
Well, if the Sisters of Suffering keep up this physical play, I tell you what, they're going to return as leaders of the pack.
And the women are back on the track as we start the third period. Coming back from the half, it's been all we've expected in a mega match and more. And now coming right out, this is Linda Leisure for the New York Enforcers, Kathy Evangelo and Andrea Franklin for the Sundogs. Leisure and Franklin going at it. Evangelo breaks free.
And Kathy Evangelo holding her midsection there. If you remember earlier, actually in the first game of the mega match, she took a shot to the midsection, and I think she also caught one in the first period, Ken.
You know, some great strategy right now. Andrea Franklin, even though she's wearing a Jammers helmet, almost acting as a blocker to keep Linda Leisure out of it. Karen Magnuson now waiting for Kathy Evangelo, and she sends her into the railing. Now here comes Andrea Franklin to take on Karen Magnuson. Franklin does a good job of staying on her feet. Denise Loden dropped back to occupy Karen Magnuson, but she still is able to get the elbow. Now Franklin setting up to whip Evangelo into Leisure, and Karen Magnuson does a good job of preventing either jammer from going by so far. Now they kind of sneak by Janet Abraham, who is back to block. A good period for the Sundogs. Great period, great work by Andrea Franklin. And now, let's go down to our colleague Danny Wolf.
Bill Barker, you experienced the Eliminator. How did it feel?
Well, let me tell you something. Big number 17 stood in my way. I didn't see it coming, but that will never happen to me again.
Never?
Never.
It is 14-13 Sundogs as we are underway with another jam, and certainly the interchangeable parts, the teamwork of the Sundogs coming to the top. Gina Lombardo out for the Sundogs, and that is Edie Bowman for the New York Enforcers. Again, Gina Lombardo comes around, number 30. We'll check and see what she's wearing. 38 in this uniform. Gina Lombardo coming around for the Sundogs. 30 seconds coming up on the jam clock. Remember, the WSL, after the first 30 seconds, a jammer could cut off, the lead jammer could cut it off. Now, Lombardo trying to go around Janet Abraham, no success whatsoever, as down goes big Janet Abraham.
Well, Janet Abraham, like I said earlier in the game, seems to not be very aggressive until the skaters come to her. I think that she might have took it a little more to Gina Lombardo right there, as her and Karen Magnuson seem to be having their way. The two sisters of suffering are playing ping pong with Gina Lombardo.
Gina Lombardo doing a good job, and now, to add insult to injury, the old Texas Bulldog, Janet Abraham, takes down Gina Lombardo. Karen Magnuson standing above her. I don't know why the referees, now he finally orders the enforcer's way, but you got to give a lot of credit to the hard showing by Gina Lombardo. Goes down and got right back up.
Well, Janet Abraham and all the Sisters of Suffering have SOS on their, tattooed on their forearm, or on their biceps there. Right there you see some of the kids, Sisters of Sin. I don't know if some of the parents out there will like that sign.
I don't know, Sisters of Sin, I'd buy that name as well as Sisters of Suffering.
Well, you're a brother of sin, pal, so you watch it.
14-13 Sundogs. Sundogs, remember, played the earlier match if you just joined us, defeating the Nevada High Rollers. And now Denise Loden out with a jammer helmet, as is Debbie Rice. The physical and the speedster. This is Shelley Rossell out, along with Heather Gunnan. Boy, this is a double marquee matchup right now. Loden and Rice, Gunnan and Rossell. The Sundogs are up by one. All four jammers out, 30 seconds to go, and they're coming up on the pack. Denise Loden, a double reverse whip, spins Debbie Rice around. The double tomahawk, Denise Loden on, followed by a double whip. Great move by Loden and Rice. We talked so much about the teamwork. You see Heather got a little frustrated. Double whip and a double tomahawk. What a jam hawk by Denise Loden.
Well, I'll tell you, not only did they score the points, but they left a couple of the Sisters of Suffering down as Debbie Rice and Heather Gunnan. I don't know how many times we have to call them, Ken.
And now let's go down on the infield to Danny Wolf.
Lindsey Francis, you're still listed as day-to-day. Denise Loden is skating with an injury. How do you sum it up?
I wish there was something I can do about it. I mean, we both got knee injuries. Those are temperamental things. I know what she's going through right now. I feel like I need to be out there for my team, but I know they can pull together and get through this.
Can't wait to get you back, Lindsey.
I want to be out there.
I'll tell you what, Hawk, I understand the rules, but with all the physical play, giving Debbie Rice a one-jam penalty for nothing more than throwing her helmet, sometimes the referees need to remember it's the skaters that play the game, not the referees. But now breaking out as the Sundogs are short-handed, this is Shelley Rossell. Of course, it's a little tough with her speedster, Debbie Rice, in the penalty box, but Karen Friedman breaking out at Cooper City, Florida, 5 feet 110 for the Sundogs. And Shelley Rossell grabs a handful of hair, and down goes Karen Friedman.
And Karen Friedman, a jam in the first period, had her helmet off. Now she goes down by Shelley Rossell pulling her hair down to the track. She's having a tough go of it, Ken.
And remember, Kara Friedman is filling in for one of the injured Sundogs, Megan, help me out.
Megan Mobley.
Megan Mobley.
She's so cute, she leaves you speechless. I don't blame you.
Well, she's been out for so long. Nice jam by Shelley Rossell. I forgot her name. There you see the hair pull.
And I tell you, we just talked about Kara Friedman having a rough go of it. It's getting pretty physical out there, Ken. I think the Sisters of Suffering are taking some advantage. That's number 35, Suzanne Shalene, wife of Posse Shalene, going down as you get a good look at Shelley Rossell. They're aggressive, and they seem to be getting pretty angry making this a physical game, Ken.
And again, my apologies if she's watching to Megan Mobley. I guess it's true what they say, out of sight, out of mind. I just couldn't get your last name, Megan. I'm sorry. Now, this is coming out for the New York Enforcers. It looks like, is it Heather Gunnan? Heather Gunnan and Debbie Rice. Now remember, Debbie Rice served the one-jam penalty. She should be pretty fresh, but these are the two speedsters. Pan American Games gold medal winning Heather Gunnan, Guinness Book of World Records for Debbie Rice as they come around the curve.
Well, Ken, we were talking about them all the way at the beginning of this season, that they used to be roommates, like to fight a lot. As Heather Gunn breaks away, scores the points, and starts to celebrate.
What a great move by Heather Gunn, saw the pack, locked up, and just shoved Debbie Rice right into the back of the pack, and went by the whole pack, celebrated, and cut it off. And now it's all broken loose once again. We wondered how long it would be between the Sundogs and the Enforcers, and of course Denise Loden right there in the thick of things. The referee's doing a good job of getting order restored, but hockey knew sooner or later it was going to break.
Well, and of course Janet Abraham had something to do with that early pile-up that allowed Heather Gunn to break free and score, and of course she had a little bit to do with that melee, as always.
20-17 Enforcers as the third period winds down, but remember the jam clock continues. Right now it's Gunnan and Rice once again. These are the big speedsters, and right there the clock runs out on the period. It ends. Karen Magnuson and Denise Loden now going at it. The Enforcers are up 20-17. Oh, Loden goes right after Magnuson, and the referees smartly get in the way and break them up. But boy, I'll tell you what, Hawk, this fourth and final period should prove to be very, very interesting. We'll be back with that period right after this. We're back at Rollerjam Arena, everyone, and Hockey Enforcers still leading by 3.
Well, it's a small lead, but we all know the Enforcers have a knack of putting it together when it matters. Let's see what happens in the final period right now.
And the men are on the track as we start the fourth and final period. The Enforcers up by 3. Sam Martin breaks right out for the Sundogs. And this is Dan Gavani, and I'll check the other number. It is Fred Eichhorn, number 12 for the New York Enforcers. The Flame, of course, number 10 in orange and yellow. Sends down Eichhorn, and now it's now Eichhorn and Martin, and Sam Martin sends down Eichhorn.
Well, and Sam Martin, the Flame, not the biggest skater out there, actually took on about 400 pounds of Enforcer and came up victorious.
And now he takes on Mark D'Amato, the captain of the New York Enforcers. D'Amato, 6 feet, 215 out of Brooklyn.
And he might be picking the fight with the wrong dog going after Mark D'Amato.
And here comes Bill Barker, and the elbow sends D'Amato right into the railing. Bill Barker coming through, absolutely cleaning house. But Sam Martin, smart move. He saw Fred Eichhorn coming up and cut off the jam. Let's go to the trackside, Danny Wolf.
Rollerjam fans, we saw history tonight. Janet Abraham, a whole game and not 1 minute in the penalty box. What didn't you do?
It's not what I didn't do, it's what the refs didn't see what I did.
Are you insane?
I can't see. I know how to do it without getting wet, without getting caught.
She's insane.
We are back. The New York Enforcers lead the Sundogs by 1 point. I'll tell you, Hawk, this mega match is living up to all its billing now. Mark D'Amato gives Tim Washington the whip, but Sam Martin breaks free, but he's got to be tiring, Hawk.
Well, not only that, but I want to see if Mark D'Amato gets to bring back what he coined in the second period, the Ralphie Valadares, in honor of Ralphie Valadares, the Eliminator. If you remember, he flipped Bill Barker up over his head with his skates. It was the most unbelievable thing I have ever seen.
Well, right now he's got a greeting committee in Mark D'Amato and Tim Washington. First he tried D'Amato, now Washington dropping back, number 17. Sends Martin right into the rail. Martin spins off, stays on his feet. Now D'Amato lays in wait. It's like a ping pong match between D'Amato, Washington. Sam Martin's the ball. And Sam Martin occupied with Mark D'Amato, did not see big Tim Washington. Amateur wrestling, a classic 2-point takedown for Tim Washington.
And I don't even know if I want to even try to talk over these guys hooping and hollering for our microphones and our cameras. But you see Brian Gamble, number 19, and David Gatorboy Gleddy, number 20, going at it. Oh, wow, it's getting pretty out of control here, Ken. I know it's the fourth period, but these guys are really making it tough for our referees. But if you saw before the action went to a fist fight, you saw really good teamwork on behalf of the Enforcers as our referees do finally bring things under control.
tell you, there's somebody we haven't heard much from in this game. Normally, Brian Gamble is a very active participant. There's a great takedown by Tim Washington as he bounces Martin off the track. Brian Gamble's been pretty quiet so far tonight.
Well, he kind of epitomizes that enforcer mentality of play hard and play mean. He kind of lets Tim Washington and Mark D'Amato squawk.
And great jam, great work so far by both teams as the enforcers still lead it by 1. Barker now again with the whip to Sam Martin, and Martin and J.R. Widener, and Widener takes, let's check that number, Hawk. It looked like it may have been Jonathan Russell. I think it is Russell's. It is not Sam Martin, it's Jonathan Russell who comes around. Both skating low, and here comes Russell closing on the pack. Number 11, Jonathan Russell coming around, and there's Mark D'Amato back to wait for him. The elbow from D'Amato puts Russell so explosive, and Russell stays on his feet. David Glennie got tangled in. Now he may come back and try to help his teammate. He tried to block D'Amato. D'Amato went right around him. D'Amato wearing those quad skates. Right now the agility proving very valuable. D'Amato, again, the only member of the WSL wearing the old 4 quad skates. And the agility, that's exactly why he wears them. You saw him weaving in and out of the pack.
Well, and David Glennie, I thought, did a very poor job there. Mark D'Amato right here was occupying Jonathan Russell, and he didn't pave the way for Jonathan Russell to score the points.
We've got a barn burner. We'll be right back. It's the New York Enforcers 20 now, the Florida Sundogs 19. Park, the Sundogs have closed the gap big time.
Well, if you got anything left, you got to spend it now. Leave nothing on the track. Here we go.
I'll tell you what a mega match this one has turned out to be. 1 point separating these two teams, and we are underway once again. And I'll tell you, there is no love lost right now. Dan Gavani breaking out for the Enforcers as they come around the track in the lead right now. It is Tom Smith for the Florida Sundogs. Remember, Smith out of Syracuse has got a little added incentive going up his home state team. Here comes Smith and Dan Gavani. And big block right there by Bill Barker. That's what they acquired it for. Barker sends Gavani into the railing as we're under 30 seconds. Barker again nailing Gavani. And on the other side of the coin, Tom Smith having no luck getting by Mark D'Amato. Both blockers at D'Amato with a haymaker to the head that puts Tom Smith down, and well it should. Barker kind of looking back, not sure what took place, keeping a sharp eye on Mark D'Amato. 1 to 5 seconds, here comes Smith. Last chance, and no!
Well, you saw Mark D'Amato laying back in wait. I got to question what Bill Barker was doing. He was not attacking Mark D'Amato to make way for Tom Smith to score points. He didn't seem to be as aggressive as he should be. As you see, the two people we've showcased, Mark D'Amato and Bill Barker going at each other.
I think Hawk, it could well have been what Tom Smith was doing what Bill Barker was doing once Tom Smith got to 1 point to tie the game up right there. Barker wanting to make sure no other enforcer jammers were coming up, trying to protect that valuable point.
Well, you saw Mark D'Amato. I think our referee must have missed that one with the downward hit to the neck. But we're all tied up as we go in to the last minute of play.
Last minute of play, the mega match on the line. Remember, the Enforcers, 2-time defending leaders of the pack. The Sundogs in their first ever mega match and giving a wonderful account. And here comes Fred Eichhorn, breaking loose, the recipient of the whip, and now coming out for the Florida Sundogs, that's Sam the Flame Martin. Eichhorn and Martin, we are tied at 20-20, 35 seconds in the mega match. It's all coming down right now. Eichhorn sets Martin into the railing, but Martin does a good job, keeps his balance. Bill Barker, black to block. Eichhorn washing it back. Barker blocking. What an upset this would be. Martin has got to get up. We could be looking at overtime here in the mega match. Barker doing a great job of keeping Eichhorn back. Tim Washington now back. And here comes, right there, the screamer. Mark D'Amato puts down Barker. and that goes, Fred Eichhorn goes right by him. Absolutely unbelievable. The Enforcers win it by 1. Again, 3 times now defending leaders of the pack. The New York Enforcers 21, the Florida Sundogs 20.
Well, and Bill Barker, I don't think he knows what hit him. You saw earlier he was a recipient of the newly coined Eliminator by Mark D'Amato, and Mark D'Amato finishes up with the screamer to win the game. Wow.
In fact, Danny Wolf is standing by with 2 members of the victorious New York Enforcers, Mark D'Amato and Tim Washington. Danny?
All right, the New York Enforcers successfully defend their leader of the pack crown. Mark D'Amato, Tim Washington, tremendous game again, big guy.
You know, baby, again, you got it right. You know, I gotta pay you off again one more time, but
you don't pay me anything.
Listen here. You saw the way we beat down the Sundogs right there, right? Now you don't want to beat down too, do you? All right.
Mark D'Amato, the screamer. If it wasn't the Eliminator, it was the screamer.
Absolutely. No one survives these moves. We dominate, we destroy, we defeat it, and we proved it again right here tonight. We are the leader of the pack once again, and we will hold this title to the end of the season. That is my prediction.
Well, you heard the prediction, the words of Mark D'Amato and Tim Washington. They are successful. They are still the leaders of the pack. Hey!
Danny, watch yourself down there. Mark D'Amato is capable of anything. But the final score, once again, the New York Enforcers 21, the Florida Sundogs 20, and Hawk with a 1-point win. You've got to say Mark D'Amato certainly the story of the game.
Well, whatever you want to say about Mark D'Amato, we see right here, that's the Eliminator that he promised. This guy, you may say he's violent, you may say he's a thug. Right there, Bill Barker saw the screamer firsthand. This guy gets it done, does what he says.
For all of us here at Rollerjam, Broadway, Danny Wolf, Lee the Hawk Rehrman, I'm Ken Resnick saying, so long, everybody. We'll see you next week for another Mega Match.